You are God incarnate. Good evening, brothers. So today I thought I would do something different and address a subject matter that I perhaps have danced and pirouetted around but haven't addressed quite comprehensively as of yet. And I guess by the title of the video you can tell where I currently stand in terms of prayer. I want to firstly say that I do not condemn prayer. I think that depending on your particular religious proclivity and what utilization prayer has for your life, it could be beneficial. I'm coming from a Catholic perspective, and my understanding of prayer comes from a place of lack. I'll talk about what I mean in just a moment. But I really wanted to address this relationship it has with manifestation and meditation, and why I am more a proponent of the latter. So I think it's first important to address what you're doing objectively when you are praying as opposed to meditating. Prayer, and again this is dressed up in my own previous experience with Catholicism and Christianity, prayer is coming from a place of asking. And it's typical in, again, my experience, that you are trying to address a local point for God, the divine, the universe, like a big floating bearded man in the sky, and you're focusing all of your attention towards this particular powerful deity and typically asking for guidance, for your desires to come true, for illnesses to go away, for wealth to bless you. Whereas meditation, if prayer is asking, meditation is a listening. So meditation lends you to a perspective of receiving. And this is why, in the simplest terms I can put it, I'm more of a proponent of meditation. Is if, as the scientists would like to explain, there was an objective truth in God, I would not be the one asking, or let's say taking up the core dialogue in the conversation with that objective truth, that objective deity. I would be listening intently, devoting all my energy into consuming and withdrawing as much divine information as possible. Again, if that deity were conceived in objective truth. In my personal experience, I mean, we're not here to combat or discuss the validity of the divine, but it's that perspective shift that I kind of want to imbue upon everyone who is a practitioner of prayer. That when you're praying, you are taking up the majority of dialogue in the conversation, and you are not going to lean any kind of value if you're not ready to receive, if you're not ready to listen. So that is the shift that I would like to push some of the maybe more prayer focused practitioners into. Now I wanted to push this right to the end of your thinking at the moment in terms of manifestation, because, and again, depending on what you use prayer for, could be many different things, it is coming from a place of asking, of wanting. If you're trying to bring something into your life, if you're trying to create something, it could be wealth, it could be love, it could be relationships, new jobs, new opportunities, and you're praying from them, objectively, what does that look like from a psychic or psychological perspective to the subconscious mind? Can you imagine a woman who is trying to attain wealth? Every night before bed, she sits down and she prays to God, Our Father who art in heaven, please can you bring forth the fruits of wealth and the trappings of wealth and the grandeur and the luxury. I would love to be associated with those kind of things. Can you please bring them into my life, Father? What does that look like to the subconscious mind? A place of lack, a place of not having, a place of emptiness, of there's no better way to put it, lack. And what is very curious, at least in my experience among prayer practitioners, is I do commend them in terms of their commitment to doing this action and doing their due diligence every single night. So every single night she's praying, please bring these things into my life. Next night. She never misses a day. And again, to the subconscious mind, affirming and reaffirming lack, not having, emptiness, non-abundance. And this is completely contradictory to the art of manifestation. Manifestation will tell you to live at the end, as Neville Goddard would say, to embody the life in the present moment as if you were associated with those things. The key is you don't get those things. You don't get the Porsche. You don't get the 6 figures a year. You become the person that is associated with those things. So it's that identity shift, and you're living from the perspective of that abundant individual. So the question then doesn't become, please Father, may you bring these things into my life, and again sending your attention and energy outside of yourself to some kind of localized deity. It's, if I was to live tomorrow from the identity, from the character of the individual that is associated with wealth, with abundance, with luxuries, with the trappings of success, what would that look like? What would he think every single day? What would he speak? What would he do? What are his habits? And that is how you become that person. It's a becoming process. It's an embodying that individual that's associated with the trappings. So my friends, my prayer practitioners, again, this may be contrary to your particular prayer practices, but think about what you're impressing upon the subconscious there. Remember, you're very, very susceptible when your brain is going into those more delta and theta brainwaves. So right before you go to bed and first thing in the morning, you're very, very impressionable and susceptible to information. And if you're praying first thing in the morning from a place of lack, and you're praying before you go to bed from a place of lack, your thoughts are going to be colored with emptiness, with not having, with non-abundance. Then the words you speak coming from lack, and the things you do coming from a place of lack, the habits you take, lack, the character you are, lack, the destiny you make, lack. So, and I think this really ties into a more monotheistic view of God and universe, source, whatever you believe, and it's really to get out of that programming that God is a local source, that you can find him in space somewhere sitting atop a cloud. You are God incarnate. God is the soil beneath all of the 3D realm that you see. And when you affirm those things from a place of abundance, you are talking from the perspective of God. So God is not lacking. So don't affirm that into your life. I'm noticing that things are getting convoluted and a little bit messy at the moment here, so I'm just going to end on that note. Affirm your abundance, affirm wholeness, affirm unity, alignment with the divine, and you will see those things come into fruition. Prayer, if it offers you utility, please continue to do so, but take what I have offered you here into consideration. Brothers, if you enjoyed this video, if you subscribe to anything of which I have said, you can subscribe to me, and I will see you again very, very soon. Take care.